In 1572, in the city of Prague, a scholar was said to have locked himself inside a tower room for 40 days after receiving a forbidden manuscript from a traveling mystic. When servants finally forced the door open, they found him alive, but changed. He refused to speak of what he had read. He burned his notes, and according to one account, he whispered only one sentence before his death years later. Some doors are closed for mercy. What could possibly be written in a book that would make a learned man fear his own understanding? In today's video, we are going to explore something far more unsettling than conspiracy theories or secret rituals. We are going to examine the hidden cost of esoteric knowledge, knowledge that promises enlightenment, hidden truths, and access to realities concealed from the ordinary mind. And what makes it disturbing is not candles in dark rooms or secret symbols carved in stone, but the psychological weight carried by those who believe they have seen behind the veil. Without further ado, let's begin. Let's get started. For as long as civilization has existed, there have been two kinds of knowledge. The first is public, taught in schools, written in books, debated in open forums. The second is hidden, reserved for initiates, whispered in chambers, encoded in symbols. The ancient Egyptians had their mystery schools. The Greeks spoke of secret rites at Eleusis. In the Hellenistic world, the teachings attributed to Hermes Trismegistus promised divine insight through hidden wisdom. Later, Gnostic sects claimed that salvation came not through faith alone, but through gnosis, a secret knowledge of the true nature of reality. Centuries passed, and the pattern repeated itself. The Rosicrucians emerged in early modern Europe, speaking of concealed spiritual truths hidden beneath the surface of the material world. The Freemasons developed elaborate symbolic systems that suggested deeper layers of meaning behind ordinary architecture and geometry. Even during the Enlightenment, an age supposedly devoted to reason, secret societies flourished. Intellectual elites gathered not merely to exchange ideas, but to participate in layered rituals hinting at metaphysical insight. Why? Because esoteric knowledge offers something intoxicating, the promise that reality is not what it seems, and that you are among the few who understand its deeper structure. But embedded in that promise is something rarely discussed: cost. At first, the pursuit of hidden knowledge feels empowering. You begin to see patterns others overlook. Symbols appear everywhere. History feels coded. Conversations seem layered with implication. What was once ordinary becomes charged with meaning. You feel awakened, and then something subtle begins to shift. When you believe you possess knowledge that others do not, especially knowledge that suggests the world is governed by concealed forces, isolation becomes almost inevitable. It becomes difficult to communicate your worldview to those who have not walked the same path. Skepticism from others feels like blindness. Disagreement feels like denial. Slowly, the distance between you and the world widens. Esoteric traditions themselves often warn of this. Many ancient schools required psychological preparation before initiation, not because the rituals were physically dangerous, but because the ideas could destabilize the unprepared mind. To question the nature of reality is to loosen the anchors that keep identity stable. To reinterpret history as symbolic rather than literal is to stand on shifting ground. And the human mind does not always respond well to shifting ground. There is also a more subtle danger: the seduction of hidden frameworks. Once you adopt a symbolic lens through which everything has secret meaning, it becomes difficult to stop. Coincidences become signs. Randomness becomes orchestration. Ambiguity becomes intention. The brain, wired to detect patterns, begins to overdetect them. Psychologists call this apophenia, the tendency to perceive meaningful connections between unrelated things. In moderation, it fuels creativity. In excess, it can erode clarity. This is where the hidden cost begins to reveal itself. The deeper one travels into esoteric systems, the more one may begin to suspect that nothing is accidental, that history unfolds according to hidden scripts, that powerful forces move invisibly behind events. At first, this worldview feels expansive. but over time it can become claustrophobic. If everything is coded, then nothing is simple. If everything is orchestrated, then free will feels uncertain. And that is a heavy burden to carry. It is no coincidence that many historical figures associated with occult or esoteric traditions lived at the margins of society. Some were revered, others were ridiculed. A few descended into paranoia, not because hidden knowledge is inherently evil, but because the psychological architecture required to hold such frameworks is fragile. When you begin to believe you see what others cannot, two paths open before you. One leads toward humility, the understanding that knowledge is always partial, symbolic, metaphorical. The other leads toward certainty, the conviction that you have pierced the illusion completely. The first path stabilizes the mind. The second can destabilize it. And here lies the paradox. Esoteric traditions often teach that true enlightenment dissolves the ego. Yet the pursuit of hidden knowledge can subtly inflate it. To be among the initiated is flattering. To believe you understand hidden truths is empowering. But that empowerment can morph into separation. And separation, sustained long enough, becomes loneliness. The scholar in Prague may not have been destroyed by what he read. He may have been undone by what it did to his perception of the world. When you can no longer see the ordinary as ordinary, when every interaction feels layered with hidden significance, rest becomes difficult. Suspicion replaces ease. Wonder transforms into vigilance. And vigilance over time exhausts the mind. We often romanticize forbidden knowledge. We imagine ancient libraries, candlelit chambers, secret manuscripts containing cosmic revelations. But rarely do we imagine the quiet aftermath, the individual sitting alone, unsure whether their new understanding has liberated them or estranged them. Perhaps the true hidden cost of esoteric knowledge is not madness, nor corruption, nor supernatural consequence. Perhaps it is isolation. The quiet realization that seeing behind the veil may also mean stepping away from the shared illusion that allows society to function smoothly. And once you step away, returning is not always easy. But this raises a deeper question. Is ignorance truly safer? Or is the burden of awareness simply the price of intellectual courage? I would like to continue into the deeper psychological implications, how obsession forms, how identity fuses with hidden frameworks, and why some individuals cannot let go once they begin pulling at symbolic threads. Once a person begins to interpret reality through an esoteric framework, something subtle happens to their identity. First, it is curiosity. You read a text. You explore a symbol. You learn that ancient myths may encode astronomical cycles, that sacred geometry appears in cathedrals, that alchemical language may describe psychological transformation rather than literal gold. It feels expansive. You feel as though you are participating in a grand intellectual treasure hunt stretching across centuries. But gradually, the knowledge stops being something you study and becomes something you inhabit. The symbols are no longer objects of analysis. They become lenses through which you interpret every experience. Conversations are decoded. News events are examined for hidden orchestration. Cultural shifts are framed as deliberate rituals playing out on a global stage. And because esoteric systems are often internally consistent, they can begin to explain almost anything. That is both their power and their danger. A closed system of interpretation offers psychological comfort. If every event fits into a larger hidden structure, uncertainty decreases. Randomness feels intolerable to the human mind. We prefer meaning, even dark meaning, over chaos. Esoteric knowledge provides meaning in abundance. But meaning without limits becomes suffocating. When every coincidence is significant, coincidence ceases to exist. When every disagreement signals hidden manipulation, trust erodes. And when your worldview depends on hidden structures invisible to most people, it becomes increasingly difficult to test your beliefs against shared reality. This is where obsession can quietly take root. Obsession does not begin with intensity. It begins with reinforcement. You find one pattern that seems convincing, then another, then a third. Each discovery strengthens the framework. Doubt diminishes. The world feels increasingly coherent. But coherence built on hidden assumptions is fragile. It requires constant validation, and so the seeker continues searching. More symbols, more texts, more connections, not always out of arrogance, but often out of fear, because if the hidden structure collapses, what replaces it? The mind that has reorganized itself around secret knowledge cannot easily return to simplicity. To do so would feel like regression, like blindness. And here we return to the scholar in Prague. Perhaps what terrified him was not a supernatural revelation, but the destabilization of his previous certainties. Perhaps the manuscript did not reveal demons or divine secrets, but a reinterpretation of reality so radical that it dissolved his intellectual foundation. If the world is not what you thought it was, then who are you within it? Identity and worldview are intertwined. Esoteric knowledge, when internalized deeply, can reshape both. There is also a social cost rarely discussed. When you believe you perceive hidden layers others ignore, conversation changes. You may begin to filter what you say. You may feel misunderstood. Over time, you may withdraw. Not because others reject you, but because translating your perception into ordinary language feels impossible. Isolation rarely announces itself dramatically. It grows quietly, and yet it would be unfair to paint esoteric knowledge as purely destructive. Throughout history, symbolic traditions have inspired art, architecture, literature, and profound philosophical insight. Many psychological frameworks, including depth psychology, draw heavily from alchemical symbolism and mythic structures. The exploration of hidden meaning can deepen self-awareness. It can cultivate humility when approached carefully. The problem is not hidden knowledge itself. The problem is how the human ego interacts with it. If one approaches esoteric systems as metaphors, as symbolic maps pointing toward inner development, they can be transformative in a healthy way. But if one approaches them as literal secret control panels of reality, the mind may begin to harden around interpretations that resist challenge. And once interpretations resist challenge, growth slows. The hidden cost, then, is not paid immediately. It accumulates slowly, like interest. A slightly altered perception here, a subtle suspicion there, a growing sense that others don't see. None of these changes feel dangerous in isolation, but compounded over years, they can reshape a personality. The pursuit of hidden knowledge asks a profound psychological question. Can you seek deeper meaning without losing your footing in shared reality? Not everyone can. Some individuals maintain balance. They explore symbolism while preserving skepticism. They hold interpretations lightly. Others grip tightly. And tight grips, when attached to invisible frameworks, can strain the mind. Perhaps that is why ancient mystery schools required stages of initiation. Perhaps the secrecy was not only about protecting knowledge, but about protecting minds. Gradual exposure, guided interpretation, community oversight, because knowledge without grounding can unmoor a person. And so we return to that whisper. Some doors are closed for mercy, not because truth is evil, but because not every psyche is prepared for radical reinterpretation of the world it inhabits. So the question is not whether esoteric knowledge exists. The question is whether the human mind can carry it without distortion. And that question remains as relevant today as it was centuries ago.